Understand something, her going on that anti-black rant, that's not a negative for certain police agencies. They're loaded and flooded with these white supremacists. You understand? They got card-carrying Aryans in some of these police agencies. You're just not supposed to go on a rant like that. They're like, oh, wait a minute, you're getting off code. You ain't supposed to say the quiet part out loud. You ain't supposed to just go off like that. She felt comfortable doing that for a reason, family. For a damn officer to get out here going on that rant, something is going on in the police agency that made her very comfortable to go out there and do that. But I want y'all to understand something, man. This is why delineation is very important. We don't have a coalition with nobody. Let's get off that fantasy. Let's just get off of it. We ain't got no coalition with nobody. Everybody is exploitive towards foundational black Americans. This is why delineation is mandatory for us right now, to recognize who we are as a unique ethnic group and us getting on code around our unique ethnic group. There ain't no damn black and brown coalition. We've been trying to tell y'all that for over a decade. Not to say there's not cool Hispanics. We're not saying that. There's a lot of Hispanics that are cool. There's no collective coalition. The coalition is one-sided. We stand up for all of these groups. We do that as a collective. They do not do it for us. And a lot of people get confused because you're laying up with somebody Hispanic. You got you some Hispanic cooch. Some of y'all hood rats, y'all out there smashing Hector so you can get a little Hispanic and black babies, so you can get you some little Chico DeBarges, whatever you're trying to get. Even now, we up here talking about a minority coalition in black and brown. The black Hispanics down in these Hispanic and Latin countries are treated horribly. You understand? They're treated horribly, and then they come up here and try to have that same disposition. So we can't be under no damn illusions. This is why I'm glad the delineation movement is taking off the way it is. So we have to understand we ain't got no friends. John Henry Clark tried to tell us that 30 years ago. We ain't got no friends. Yeah. And that's cool. I'm good. We got family. That's what I'm saying. We don't need friends. We got family. It's 49 million foundational black Americans. We don't need to be sucking up to no damn body. You feel me?
So everybody's been talking about Ashley Hernandez, man, and her vicious and vile and disrespectful comments about black Americans and the African American community. And this is something that we know that a lot of Hispanics have. They say a lot of very disrespectful things towards our community. And we've always been so accepting and loving and being on the front line for everybody, right? We've always done that. And today you have grassroots foundational black Americans. We're speaking out and we're saying enough is enough, and no, and we're getting pushback tooth and nail from black people who still want to be on the Democratic plantation that's pushing this minority coalition, which don't exist. And today, there was a sit down on Isaiah Factor Uncensored, where you had two Hispanics and two black people, and they were sitting down having a conversation about the black and brown so-called coalition that don't exist and the relationship between just us, man. So we're gonna get off into that today. We're gonna look at this and see what this thing was about, man, because like I said, it don't exist.
Has been at the center of many discussions here on The Factor this week. She's been stripped of her police powers after the release of an alleged video of her repeatedly using the N-word. But beyond the badge, this incident exposes a much deeper, uncomfortable truth that few people want to tackle, talk about, even address: the unspoken tensions between the Black and Latino communities. It's a long-standing issue that people have been bringing up behind closed doors.
And I'm very pro-Latina, but being pro-Latina is calling out in our community, and our community can be very anti-Black.
The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it.
And we have multiple questions. What is really driving the wedge between these two groups? How do we fix this? And is this our America? Joining us now, President of Houston Millennials, Ivan Sanchez, podcast host, Dennis Reyna, CEO of Regal Media, Todd Smith, and Texas State Representative.
Now, before we start, I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. This sister right here gonna go hard in the paint. She ain't gonna she not gonna mix words, right? And that's the one thing that I respect. She gonna force these two Mexicans to come out and be honest, because she didn't give them no buffer. She didn't give them no safe space.
Representative Jolanda Jones, glad to see you all here on The Factor Uncensored. Now, just hearing that officer led us to question, this is more than just about her. This is a problem that we have in America when it comes to the black and brown divide. So let's begin with you guys, and I want to hear your honest opinion. Do you think this is an issue?
Oh, it's absolutely an issue. I mean, I saw it when I was on the HISD school board, where you had the Latino board members and one ally with them literally fire illegally the black superintendent. And so it doesn't seem like there's colorism everywhere, but nobody wants to be worse than black people. And the funny thing is, everyone gets their civil rights because black people fight for them, but everybody wants to be better than black.
Now, I'll say this. I like the fact that she jumped right out the gate. No rap. She's talking the way we talk in our house, the way we talk at the barbecue. She's not mixing words. She just coming with the smoke.
Black people. And you can tell with the video that she sent to her friends, that her friends, I guess, except for the one who shared it, are okay with it. She was comfortable talking about it. And you see it now because I think that Trump has just made it okay for people to show their racism. And in this particular instance, it's anti-blackism. And she doesn't need to have any power. She doesn't need to have a badge. She doesn't need to be the police because she's prejudiced against black people. And somebody like that is dangerous to us. We literally could end up being on the street dead. So I'm glad they stripped her of her powers. She doesn't ever need to be law enforcement anywhere in the United States or in Texas.
All right, Ivan, let's hear from you. Your thoughts about this. First of all, do you acknowledge there is a problem?
There is definitely a problem, but let me be clear. Making this entire thing about Latino versus black is totally wrong. This is about the MAGA mindset.
Now, see, what he tried to do was not make it about black and brown, where he knows, but see, he's going to end up getting exposed and will end up having to come out and speak because he knows what his people say about our people. Let me say this. When I was growing up, my grandmother never told me to be racist towards anybody. We wasn't taught that, right? Their people have W supremacist talking points towards black people. He knows this. He knows this. This Mexican knows this. But again, he's trying to, because he knows that his people's going to hear this and they're going to have something to say about it. So what he's trying to do is soft shoe everything, but it ain't going to work, not today.
Versus the minority community. I looked at her voting history and she's a Trump supporter. I mean, are we surprised what's going on here? A couple of years ago.
Man, they've been talking like this way before Trump. See, they want to blame everything on Trump as if Trump is the worst president we ever had. And they just make you think racism only started in America when Trump came. Like, this is the stupid stuff that these people do.
I don't think it's that simple, though.
A couple of years ago.
Really quick, I don't think it's that simple. I think you have an individual who grew up in the Hispanic community, and she clearly was comfortable in saying that before she became affiliated with a political group.
Well, they're all coming out of the shadows. Let me give you an example. I was one of the only brown kids in my football team with all black and white football players. My heart was broken after graduation in 2006. Fast forward to 2015, 2016, they're all just ranting the most racist shit on Facebook.
We apologize for that. We don't say the S word. Once again, we apologize.
My bad. But look, I have my high school reunion, my 20-year high school reunion coming up, and I'm just going to be very blunt. People have empowered me to use my voice to speak truth to power, and I'm going to confront these folks. they were hiding their hatred for a very long time. So it comes from stemming from their parents giving them this hatred. So there might be a divide because we're not perfect, but we have a lot of work to do.
All right, no more S words, no more F words.
Yeah.
But let's continue this conversation, Todd.
I have another S word that's more appropriate. It's self-hate and the need to be a model minority. I agree with what both of these, Jolanda and Ivan said. Yes, it's people wanting to be better than Black people, but we have a lot of minorities that want to assimilate and be accepted by the majority society, in a majority culture, and they'll do anything to distance themselves from the others. I'm not like this person, I'm not like that group, and that creates the division. We want to show that, oh, I'm better than the Black person, I'm better than the Hispanic person, when, like Jolanda said, rights for minorities came from Black struggle and from Black civil rights. So a lot of us are fighting the same battles, but we're not realizing that we're on the same team to fight racism. You know what I mean? It's going to take all of us coming together, Hispanic, Asian, Black, white.
See, the problem with all of us fighting the same battle, us Black people in America, us being good-hearted people, right? Us being loving people, we see that other groups are oppressed. And we're saying, hey, man, come over here and join us. We got your back. But when we find out they don't got our back. They don't got our back, right? They don't they don't carry the same morale that we have. So yeah, we fought for other groups to get out of oppression because we saw what they did to the Native Americans. We saw what they was doing to other indigenous groups. And all these groups do is look at us with the same vitriol that the W man looks at us through. So we felt, so we got to get out of that way of talking because it don't work. They don't love us the way that we love them. And it's unfortunate, but it's just what it is.
To fight racism, and until we stop trying to be that model minority, and until we stop trying to be better than the others, we'll continue to be at odds with each other, and we'll get nothing accomplished.
All right, Dennis, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, my issue with this is Hispanics, you know, who use the N-word feel like they have the right to use the N-word, right? And I think that that's the wrong mindset. There's two versions of it, right? There's the way that this, you know, lady was speaking on her.
What we see there appears to be pure hate.
Exactly. And then there's the way I'm not gonna lie to you, the way I grew up was I'm literally one of 3 Mexicans around a bunch of Black friends playing sports. I didn't see an issue saying the N-word because my Black friends didn't see an issue with me saying the N-word, right? I tell this story all the time. I stopped saying it in 2009 after my second child. My second child, both my kids are both half Black. And I had to realize, like,
there's some truth to what he's saying, because before I came into like a lot of knowledge growing up around like Puerto Ricans and Blacks in the hood, they said the N-word like we did. And I didn't have enough wherewithal or knowledge to see what you couldn't say it until I started educating myself, right? But back then, like everybody that lived in the ghetto where we lived at, in the hood where we lived at, that was in poverty, that was selling drugs or running wild, we all said it, and we didn't see them as white people, right? So I understand what he's saying, but now when you educate it more on certain things and not realizing that they wasn't like that, but a lot of their parents was racist. Now I started to understand. No, they can't use that word. But when we was in the trenches together like that, I didn't see it from that perspective. So, but let's listen to some more.
I have to be the one to change it. My Black friends weren't telling me to stop saying it. I have to be the one to change it because I have to also teach my kids that whoever is going to use this word is ignorant, right? And I think that it starts there because it's a level of ignorance as a Hispanic growing up that you don't know. You don't understand that this term is so hateful and holds so much weight to it that you have to learn that on your own and say, okay, now I need to stop this.
And really quick, though, I don't want to get just caught up on the N-word. Mm-hmm. That's an easy conversation. In the last 30 seconds before we go to break, have you seen or experienced hate of Black people by other Hispanics?
So,
that's what we're talking about.
And this was going to go into what I was going to say is my family.
Now watch this. Watch this.
Right, my family they're all from Houston. They're all from Texas.
Let's hold you there because we want you to finish that story. That sounds juicy. We'll be back with more Factor and our guests. And once again, we apologize for Ivan slipping up. He's hot and all of that. We'll be back. Stay with us. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We continue our conversation about the real unspoken tension between the Black and Latino communities.
My family used to have very hateful ways in speaking about Black people as I was growing up, right? And as a child, I didn't see, that this was right or wrong. I just saw, okay, this is kind of how my family speaks when they're speaking about, this race or whatever. So as I started getting older, I started realizing like this ain't right. It got to the point that it made me so uncomfortable that I wouldn't even allow my Black friends to come to my house because I never knew what my family would say at that point, right? But
I respect him for his honesty, but he's going to explain to you why he's this way. But this is the truth, man. Y'all know my background. Y'all know what I talk about. This is the 100% truth, right? And they try to lie and act like it's not. And these Black Democrats try to lie and act like it's not. There is no minority coalition. A lot of these people do not like us. Nobody wants to be associated with Blackness, man. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil, man.
As I got older, again, I'm the first person to bring a Black woman into the household and say, hey, this is who I'm with. I had to start checking things as they're being said. Mm-hmm. I'm at a party. I don't want to be at a family party worrying about what my family is going to say out of line, out of pocket. And now I have to stand up for not only, the woman that I'm with at the time, but my kids. Like you're not about to disrespect any of them in saying what you're saying at this point.
Was there any rhyme or reason for this hate that your family has?
So looking at my family and then also a couple other Hispanic families that I've grown up with, I think that in Texas, in Houston, there's an issue of Hispanics being what I would call whitewashed, thinking that they're not as bad as Black people. Mm-hmm. They're on the same level as white people. But in reality, certain white people will look at both everybody sitting here on this panel today and be like, I don't like any of you, mm-hmm. right? So I think it's a very whitewashed mentality that a lot of older Hispanics have.
And they call that cultural assimilation.
Yeah. He kept it all the way 100. I got nothing but respect for that.
Your thoughts, Jolanda, in hearing the honesty that Dennis has?
Well, so first of all, I agree with Dennis. I mean, everybody is like, yeah, you can sleep with a Black person, but don't bring them home to marry him. Mm-hmm. Don't have no kids with him. Mm-hmm. Don't do any of that.
Hey, Yolanda ain't playing, man. Listen, Yolanda ain't messing around, bro. She ain't BSing, man. She keeping it. Hold on, let's make the screen a little bit bigger when she talk. Hold on for a second. Let Yolanda go.
Dennis, I mean, everybody is like, yeah, you can sleep with a Black person, but don't bring them home to marry him. Mm-hmm. Don't have no kids with him. Mm-hmm. Don't do any of that. We don't want that. You're the black sheep of the family. Like literally, I have plenty of friends who are Hispanic who have chosen to be with Black people, and their families have literally disowned them. And even within the Hispanic community, there's colorism. They treat the darker skinned Hispanics mm-hmm. worse than they treat the lighter skinned because everybody thinks white is right. And it's a problem. And Black people, as God would have us, are darker than everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you go around the world, I experienced it when I lived in Spain. They treated Africans really poorly. They treated gypsies really poorly, who were dark skinned. So around the world, everyone treats Black people like they are evil. And the really crazy thing about us as Black people is we always welcome everybody. We always try to bring everybody along with us. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to be us. Everybody wants to culturally appropriate. They want big lips. They want big bottoms. They want to have everything like us, but they don't want to be us. Man. And Trump has made it okay. So these people, this isn't something that's new.
That's the part where I disagree. Trump hasn't made it okay. It's been like that forever. I agree. She's smoking. I agree with what she's saying, but they keep making this about Trump because they still pushing that Democratic agenda stuff, man. This is way before Trump. Shouldn't even be mentioned in this. This is way before Trump.
They've always been anti-Black, mm-hmm. but with Trump being president, and if he can be anti-Black, then they think they can. And I'm really thankful, really, for it, because there's nothing like thinking somebody really appreciates your humanity, and then this time shows you that they don't. So there are a lot of friends that I had in high school. I went to a mostly white high school. I'm not friends with most of them. because they say stuff that's just unacceptable, and I check them because every time I see anti-Blackism, I go at it like a heat-seeking missile, because if I remain silent and there's somebody around who doesn't have an opinion and I don't say anything, then they'll think it's okay. And I need to check it.
All right. And Ivan, I've been watching you through the process. Do you feel like you're being villainized here, or some of your people? What?
No.
See, you heard what he said. Ivan is more worried about what them Chicanos is going to say when he get back home. Hey, I say, you didn't speak up for La Raza. You didn't speak up. I said, you're becoming a problem. Hey, we might have to come out and have a conversation with you, SA.
Oh, it's time to rip off the scab. I heard what Dennis said in the family rivalry.
He being forced now to come out and tell the truth because he tried to soft shoot early.
It does happen in the family gatherings, just little comments here and there. But I will say it in advance, in a professional level, I've worked for all Black elected officials. And when I'm sent to these other organizations,
sound like I got all Black friends.
No. I'm not going to do that. But hey, look at my record. I worked for 11 years for Sheila Jackson Lee, for Yolanda Jones. And when I go to some of these places, it has been insinuated that I'm already betraying the Latino community.
Oh, wow.
So it is embedded.
Did you hear what he just said? He just said and told you because he's affiliated with us, it's already insinuated that he's betraying his own people. How can you have a minority coalition? This is them telling you this. But Roland Martin won't talk about this because it goes against their agenda. But let's proceed.
And it's time to rip off the scab and get better.
And so in the last time we have here, guys, how do you see us bridging the gap, trying to work this out, if at all?
Like Dennis said, you have to check people. When people have racist views, you have to check them. Jolanda would do it, but I think it's better when it comes from somebody in the community because a lot of times, they're just complaining. They always, like the young lady said, they just talk about slavery all the time. But when it comes from somebody from your community, I think it holds more weight. So if people of other colors can check anti-Black racism, it will do a lot of good in knowing it's not accepted, because when we do it, we're complaining. But when they do it and call it out, it might be respected a little more.
All right, Dennis, let's hear from you. What do you think the solution is?
The other thing I would say is allow us to be an ally, right? I think that because racial tensions are so high in certain rooms, in certain areas, it does feel like, you're just you're saying that, right? You don't mean what you're saying. You're trying to stand up for Black people and your Black friends, but you don't really necessarily mean that. Nah, man, I genuinely mean it. Allow me to be an ally.
Got it. Any closing? We've got 20 seconds.
I was just saying that, I tell anyone who's with somebody Black, I hope that you love your children and your grandchildren for their humanity. And you better start checking people who are anti-Black, because if you have one drop of Black blood, your babies and grandbabies are Black. So you better start fighting for them. I know you're not going to allow people to treat people that you love like second-class citizens. And that's how people treat us.
All right. We want to thank you.
So this is the thing. She, she was on fire, man. She was on fire. She was speaking her mind. She was speaking her mind. She was speaking how she felt. The only thing that I disagree with, I don't like the fact when they try to throw everything in there on the Trump bandwagon, as if all this racism just started with Trump. Now, they also interviewed 2 Black police officers about this Ashley situation, and we're going to get off into that, too. We're going to get off into that. Let's get into this.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Fallout continues tonight over a disturbing video that allegedly shows HPD officer Ashley Gonzalez repeatedly saying the N-word and bragging about dropping it on a suspect during an arrest.
Y'all don't know how good it felt to say like out loud, like goddamn. Oh my God, I felt like I was back in the Marine Corps. Like I kid you not. I don't know what for me. I grabbed neck and I was like, "Come here." Oh my God! Like I felt like the world just stopped. Like it was just peace.
And of course, HPD is investigating Gonzalez. She has not been fired as of yet, instead relieved of duty. Incidents like this can shatter public trust with law enforcement. Now, the community of law enforcement officers are coming together and weighing in. Joining us to discuss this, Sherelle Wood, the president of the Afro-American Police Officers League, and Antoine Holmes, the group's membership co-director. Glad to have you here on The Factor. It's stomach-turning, it's disgusting, it's shocking that you would see this from a law enforcement officer bragging about it on social media, no hold bar, just saying whatever she feels. Your thoughts about seeing this video?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you took some of the words right out of my mouth. We are all unanimous when it comes to this video was disturbing, disgraceful.
See, this is where I have a problem. How is it disturbing? How is it disturbing? How is it disturbing and disgraceful? As if we don't already expect this. See, they're being dishonest. When we talk in the barbershop, when we talk in our house, we already know how these people think about us. I mean, I would feel better if we come on here and say, man, I'm not shocked. Unfortunately, man, we live in America and this is what we've had to endure for so long. This is not something that's shocking. It's hurtful, but it's not shocking. This is how they should start off. But again, they don't want to rock the boat.
We are all unanimous when it comes to this video was disturbing, disgraceful, despicable, disgusting. We were very appalled upon receiving this video in our inboxes this morning, actually on last night. I will tell you, as an organization representing primarily African-American officers, we do not condone this type of behavior, nor do we as officers condone or conduct ourselves in that type of manner as depicted in the video. I will say that we are confident that we did address our HPD leadership. We're confident that they will make the right decision to hold this officer accountable, to restore the public trust and respect that we worked so hard to earn in this department from our community members.
Antoine, did you have to do a double take and let me make sure this is a damn cop, to make sure that this person is on our force behaving like this out in the public?
Yes, I did. I received a text or group text messages coming in.
Why would he have to do a double take to make sure that this is a cop? This is par for the course. This is routine based off of this country.
And people are asking us questions like, hey, is this real or is it AI? Because we live in an AI world. And this is when I heard from Ms. Wood that this is real. And it was shocking because we all took an oath. But we also go out here and serve our Houstonians, our community, and to hear this type of language, it broke my heart, because this is something that we've dealt with a lot in most of our life, and I just couldn't believe one of our own was speaking in this manner.
Why would you believe that she's one of your own? You are a black police officer. You wear that uniform and go home. You took this oath, and you keep thinking that you're equal to these people. They don't like you. One of your own. Listen to this comment. This is why we can't advance. What are you talking about? One of your own. They don't find a Mexican that get up there and say and make a statement like that. I'll wait. I'll be in this chair full of bones.
And Sherelle, for those who are wondering, obviously you represent a pole, yes, but you know how the wheels turn in HPD. For those who may be thinking, oh, well, she's just relieved of duty, she'll be back on the job. How does that process work for those who are wondering?
Sure. So anytime an officer is alleged to have committed some type of violation with a criminal or civil, or just completely just egregious, the department does do a thorough and complete investigation into those actions. There is a process for it, okay? Exhausting all legal processes to ensure that the officer receives, due process, receives her time before our chief of police. But rest assured that our department is taking all necessary precautions to ensure that the officer is held accountable for her actions on what she stated in that video.
And this is for either of you. Many people are wondering, how did she ever get in? You know, you can't see into someone's mind. You can't read someone's mind, but...
What do you mean, how did she ever get in? What kind of stupid question is that? How did she ever get in? They all in. They always been in the police force. They always been part of the military. They were the feds was running the thing where they had these W supremacist groups had infiltrated the police departments, the judges, the military. They always been there. She just came out and ran her mouth out in the open. She started talking too much, too fast.
She talked about doing it in the Marines. And so the question is, how did she ever become a police officer for either of you?
We have a thorough vetting process, but just like with any process, sometimes you can slip through the cracks. Mm-hmm. Some people can put on a good mask and act very well. Mm-hmm. And I have utmost confidence in our recruiting division, but you will have where some people slip through the cracks and they will show their true colors when, as you say, like our body-worn cameras is off, they'll show you who they are. And unfortunately, I think this is the case that happened.
And of course, you came out of the academy in 2024. You see photos of a black police chief, Troy Finner, pinning her badge on her, and you're thinking, what is she thinking about him? What is she thinking about you guys who may work on the force with her? Do you ask yourself, where does this mentality come from, especially from someone of another minority group, a Hispanic?
No, absolutely. And to speak on the fact of the video, we're not certain whether that was the officer or not in that video. So I don't want to speak on that. But, you know, like I said, it's disturbing because this is an officer who sits in roll call with black officers. This is an officer who...
Wait a minute. If you're not certain that that's the officer in the video, why are you even sitting here doing the interview? Because the interview is about the officer that's in the video. Why not decline to do the video until you're certain? See, this is the bull crap, man, that behind that blue, that's the shield, the blue wall, man. Like, they really think that they accept it. No, you being used.
Testifies in the court of law against black people who are charged with a criminal offense. This is an officer who responds to calls for services for the black community. So we're just wondering, you know, was she ever rendering impartial services for the community in which she served?
And really quick, let's go back to something you just said, because the audience may be taken aback by that. You're saying, well, we don't know that's her. So explain why you're saying that.
Well, this is a large department, right? To be honest, I don't know that officer personally. So I don't know the video that was shown with her badge being pinned on her. I can't personally testify whether or not that was Ms. Gonzalez in that video. That's what I mean by that.
Then you shouldn't be up there doing the interview.
But we know that a badge got on her ass.
Correct.
Somewhere.
That is correct. She was badged, and we do know that she was relieved of duty. So the department did do their investigation to determine whether, like we said, was it AI or was it an actual fact that was that officer.
And of course, yes, there is that AI element out there. What are officers saying out there about this, both black, white, Hispanic, Asian, what have you?
Officers that I personally spoke to, a lot of us are upset. Some are enraged.
Why are you upset and enraged? Like, these people really think that they accept it.
Is it at all embarrassing also?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you go out here and you put your life on the line every day. And you're this person backup. I'm Ms. Wood's backup and vice versa. And to know that this person feels like that about a specific race and group, it does break your heart, because it's like, hey, I go out here and I put my life on the line for you every day.
They being disingenuous. They know darn well these groups still got these preconceived notions about black Americans, man.
I didn't know you felt that way about me.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming on.
So I just want to say to the family, man, there is no minority coalition. There never was a minority coalition. And you being duped and led astray by the Democrats to socially engineer you into believing this, because they tried this experiment and it hasn't worked. Everything that they tried to get laws passed through the House and through the Senate, it didn't work. So their strategy was to form a minority coalition where they can get minorities to be sympathetic towards the black American plight, and they can build up a stronger voting bloc where we can get things passed. And by doing that, we can also help the immigrants come into this country. That didn't work. It failed. The immigrants come here and they come here and get their numbers up and they say, screw you, we're going to do for self. So you thought because the W man was so racist and the Black Americans couldn't get laws passed, if we allow these Hispanics to come and the Black Americans and Hispanics unite, we can get things passed, because now we can force House members and senators to have to represent their voting blocks and get things passed. Well, that's not working, because Latinos come here with W supremacist viewpoints, and they're not supporting us. They're not supporting our reparations. They don't even like us. And that's just the way it goes. So the minority coalition don't work. It didn't work. Your strategy, Democrats, failed. It failed. So now you have this Ashley Hernandez, and she's one amongst millions. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.